Hello, everyone. It is me, Elman, back at it again. Right now. You can see my cursor here. Let's give some pets to Miyosha, to Okayu, to Korone, to Fubuki, because, Hololive gamers. None for you, you are evil. To a degree. Excuse me. But today, I've decided to do a tier list for Holo Emblem. The bench don't use thing was already here. I didn't do any edits here because I really don't have like a criteria. This was just based on a one-time playthrough. And honestly, these opinions might shift and change with a second playthrough. But these are more of a first impressions. Sorry if you might hear me breathe. It's just really hot today. But, however, let's put S tier as a must-use, or we're pretty good. Ooh, that's a lot of goods there. And then A tier can be use them if you want, because the way I see this game being balanced, you can definitely, use anyone you want. There is no... How do I say this? There is no need for a... oh, dude, you gotta use this unit to make the game, remotely, feasible for you. Come on, it's Fire Emblem. Aside from FE12, you can use whoever you want in any game. Even in Conquest, the second hardest game, you can just build up anyone, but you definitely will still want to use Xander for a later game, and Camilla, because those two are just bonkers. And obviously, there's the Dancer, which, by the way, the first unit we'll be rating is, just a no-brainer, Watame, because she's the Dancer of the game, so... Yeah, and you get her pretty early on, Chapter 3. I haven't even done the tierings, but you already know that your Dancer is gonna be S. And, it's just it's a Dancer. Why would you not want to use your Dancer? And she can use Cloudy Sheep. In fact, I have the ROM here as well. Let's see what skills Watame learns. Now, I didn't give her any skills. I think the only one I gave her was Acrobat, which all traversable terrain costs 1 movement, which is pretty good for Watame. I also have her bases, but her stats really aren't important. She has 8 cons, so she can be rescued by most of the cast. She has Rally Skill, which honestly, if you want to make her learn another skill, you can just forget about that one. And Voice of Peace, which enemies within 2 tiles deal -2 damage. So not only can she dance, but her positioning can help you in the defensive game as well. She also has Boon. She can learn Boon. For those who've never played Fire Emblem in the Tellius games, what Boon does, it cures bad status effects. So if one of your units is asleep or silenced, she can cure those. Not sure about Berserk. Is Berserk active the turn after they've Berserked you? You know what? Yeah, it is. I'm just thinking about a situation that, one of your units was Berserked already, because then, Watame would be in danger. And she also learns Inspiring Tune, which grants +2 power and defense until the next turn, when refreshing someone. And her bands that she learns are Cloudy Sheep, Midnight Song, and Everlasting Soul. All of them have 15 uses. You get a second Cloudy Sheep in Chapter 24, but I don't think you'll end up using it much unless you really need to. And there are spaces for it too. I think the one you might want to use the most is Everlasting Soul, especially on a unit who's pretty accurate, because this game has, the Thracia hit rates 1 to 99. But I'm not sure if it's running on the Thracia RN, because if it's GBA Fire Emblem RN, then that 99 is basically 100. And Everlasting Soul will just make a unit that hits hard hit even harder, doi. And you can stack this up with another item that you get later on in the game. It's called the Bee Sage Seal, which, when held, grants plus 10 strength and magic. So, if anyone that you give that to has a brave weapon plus everlasting soul, it's just gonna be pretty good. And she has pretty decent growth rates too. Like, all she really wants is speed, luck, and HP, which are all here at HP 75, 60 for speed, 40 for luck. No, wait, that's skill. I was reading skill. Yeah, 50 luck. Her defense and resistance are also pretty alright, with 45 in defense and 40 in res. But she shouldn't really be seeing much combat either way. She could be a dodge tank if you want her to be like most dancers. And at that point, just give someone a Midnight Song and then do your dodge tanking there. You don't want to, put your dancer in danger just because, oh, let me do a funny dancer strat moment. But yeah, rating Watame first, as honestly, she's an automatic, pretty good tier. I'm actually going to go back on my decision and keep these as what they were, because this is my first time playing the game, so I'll just keep this as, oh my goodness, these units were pretty good. But however, I will do one thing. I'm gonna turn that S tier into blue because I like blue. But enough of that. Let's move on to actual characters, like with orders and stuff. Ina will be the only one that will be kept in bench/unused. And spoilers, this contains every playable character in the game, and also Laplace's promotion, which is why Laplace, which is Laplace's promotion, is right next to Laplace here. I missed out on that promotion because I broke the candy staff, because I forgot you needed the candy staff to access the Gaiden. Like, if you want to use Laplace, make sure you have all the legendary weapons once you pass 24 ETs. That also includes recruiting Callie, which is right here. And she's in a Xavier Hannibal situation. So be careful. I'll first go rate our Lord, Amelia. This is my first time using the tier list maker like this, so apologies. But what I want to say about Amelia... In fact, I don't think she's that quite of an S, but she's definitely A tier. The reason for Amelia being A tier is honestly her combat stats kind of leave a lot to be desired. She also promotes pretty late. She does get to level 30, which is something that I can better say for her than most lords in the series that promote late. Like, if any of you Hololive fans came into Fire Emblem with the newer games, I'll explain it to you this way. Ever since Fire Emblem 5 to Fire Emblem, I want to say 10. Not 10 because Ike really doesn't need that promotion, but he does level up super quick. So many people just give him Blossom even though he doesn't need the stat growth. He does appreciate some speed just to delay his EXP. Well, at least that's been my experience. But yeah, Micaiah promotes late even though her first promotion is kind of early, in my opinion. That the way it would go, right, is that FE1, 2, 3, and 4, right? For FE2 and FE4, that would depend on when you get your lord to that level to promotion. Like, example, Salif, you want to promote him early? You can set that up to promote him in Chapter 6 or at the beginning of Chapter 7. He's not gonna be a foot-locked unit on Chapter 8, trust me. He's gonna see a lot of combat for that. And then as for Alm, that pretty much depends on how much progress you do on Celica's route compared to his, because you can get him promoted pretty decently, and even then his promotion can just carry him for the rest of the game. You don't need to like give him levels or anything to make him work, because like that promotion just gets him to the top already. And then for FE1 and FE3, Marth does not promote. So this applies to like the FE5 and FE10, where the lords for some reason had forced promotions, but they were late promotions. Example, FE5 has 25-ish chapters. Leaf promotes at the end of 18. Roy's game has 24-ish chapters. He promotes after chapter 21, or if you got the guidance for the Dark Tome, chapter 21X, which is pretty late. Latest promotion in the series, I think. FE7, really, you get 3 promotional items. You can use 2 of them for the other 2 lords that aren't your main one, aka Lyn or Eliwood or Hector. And then the last one you get in-game. I don't want to count this as an item, but it definitely feels like an item moment. You get your 3rd Heaven Seal, which is automatically given to your lord, and their promotion, aka promoting late, super late. And it's like, ugh, why bother? FE8, same thing. Ephraim and Erica, they promote pretty late for what the rest of the game entails, and it's a pretty short game, so you can just get them up with grinding. And then for Ike, I would say he promotes the earliest of these, but Ike definitely still promotes a little later than what you want to. But it's not that bad. In FE10, I already said it with Micaiah and Ike. And Amelia definitely has this situation as well, but thanks to those 10 levels, she doesn't face much of it. But she's definitely facing some shoddy growth rates there and bases. Like, LaPlus is also another late promoter, but she's got it way worse than Amelia. But now let's look at Amelia's growth rates before we even say anything, and her base stats too. She has 19 hit points, 6 strength, 1 magic, 6 skill, 7 speed, 8 luck, 2 defense, and 1 resistance. And this is during patch 1.6. These haven't been changed since the first version, from what I can tell. The only characters that have gotten changes are Fauna, that make her a little better, and then Noel and Flare getting nerfs, Louis getting some res buffs, and Ina from what seems to be a definitely needed buff. Now let's go back to Amelia. Alright, now you may notice that Amelia's stats are just kind of iffy. Like, if we compare her stats to her contemporary Mumei, she has... I'm gonna say Mumei's base stats real quick, who joins in the next chapter. 24 HP, 7 strength, the same magic, 1 less skill, but it's a sword, so skill isn't really that important. 12 speed, 2 less luck, 1 more defense, same resistance, 1 more move because thief moment, and 1 more con. But what Amelia really brings to this table that makes her pretty good in A tier is the same things that make Leaf pretty good. And I'll tell you why. Now then, she has 2 very important skills, Swap and Investigation. Investigation means that adjacent ally units gain Amelia's strength plus might divided by 2. This means, let's say she has 30 strength right now, as my Amelia has in her endgame. And the minute hand, I have her equipped. Actually, no, let's not equip the minute hand. Let's say she has the sleep sword. That's 7 plus 30, 37. That would be around... Hold on. How much is 37 times... divided by 2? I've forgotten how to do basic math. But basically... she just has the half of that. 18. So she's granting someone 18 attack. Now let's say we're in the early game, right? She has 6 strength. She has 6 strength. Let's say she has the slim sword. That's 9. And with the way Fire Emblem works, it rounds down to the lower number. So she's giving someone plus 8 attack, essentially. No, wait. Not plus 8 attack. She's giving someone plus 4 attack. And that can be a make it or break it difference in the early game, because in the later game, you kind of want some of your units to take care of enemies on their own, because Amelia is not going to be there at all times. She doesn't have the highest move in the game. In fact, when promoted, she has 6 move. So she's a really good candidate for the boots, but I gave my boots to the one Oka Mimio da yo. Which, you know, if it were bias, I would put Mio here in S, but, you know, no biases here. Sadly, Mio, I'm gonna have to be harsh on you later. But Amelia is pretty good as a unit, I'd say. And you're not looking for Amelia for her combat. You're looking for Amelia for her supportive skills. Now let's look at another one she does have. Because swap and investigation, I didn't mention swap, but if you're playing this ROM hack, you kind of already know what it means. Because, you know, if you've gotten the knowledge that ROM hack this game to play Holo Emblem, aka FV8 into Holo Emblem, then you probably already know what swap does. It allows unit to swap positions with adjacent ally, which is pretty great for positioning. Like, you could swap with Fauna or with Mumei to get them to deal more damage towards the enemy by you being adjacent to them, or if they need to get closer somewhat. Like, let's say you want Fauna to tank a mage, but you also want them to kill it. You could just swap Fauna into the range itself with Amelia. Because I think Amelia has more move than Fauna. Let me check. No, actually, no, they do have the same move. Never mind. But Fauna's probably going to be lacking a bit behind because you want her to attack at a distance, whereas Ame's just going to go in the front because, you know, melee weapon. But another skill that Amelia does have is Nice Ties. No effect, really, I just point them out. But they do have an effect. Like, there are some units here that have the skill Cultured. Let me see who's one of them. Oh yeah, Marin. Like Marin, Miko, and Okayu, they all have Cultured. And you can learn Cultured as a scroll in other places. What Cultured does, let me go to the game description to read it out for you. What Cultured does, it essentially gives you, right, if attacking next to a unit with Nice Ties, move again. Which is phenomenal. Freaking phenomenal. You essentially have a Gale Force if you attack a unit with it. Like, on a unit like Miko here, right? She can just heal someone once she learns Cultured. And she happens to be next to Ame. She can just move again. Which is frankly insane. Like, let's take someone else here, for example. Kiara, who has Rally Spectrum. She can rally one group of people. And then just go rally next to Amelia. And then go to another group of people. And obviously, there are many units in the game that have Nice Ties. But Amelia just happens to have one of the better uses for it. Because, let's say you're attacking a boss. You miss your hit or you just don't double the boss. You have a unit with Cultured, like Marin, who I think is a great user of it due to her high speed. Like, you just patch up her skill and boom, Destruction Machine. Or if you give Culture to Noel, who has insane bonkers strength, you know. Actually, maybe not on Noel's because I think at some points in the game it becomes pretty easy to train up Noel. So maybe she might be a bit too over-leveled to get the good EXP out of it. But yeah, I just think Amelia's just pretty good for that support. But I think her combat just puts her down a bit. Like, she isn't capturing most things either because she's pretty, I would say, pretty light. But Amelia's pretty good because of, you know, Nice Ties. Because of Cultured. It just works. And there are also some units with Ideology. If a unit within 3 tiles has Nice Ties, gains +2 attack and 20 hit. Marine also has this, because, you know, Marine moment. I think Nenechi also has this skill. Yes, she does. And we'll get to Nenechi later. But essentially, if a unit has Ideology, that's another +2 and +20 hit with Amelia's investigation skill. I don't think Amelia goes below A. She could go to B if her combat's just a bit lacking. But she can still do the Roy thing where it's chip damage. Like, she's a combination of Leaf and Roy without the level disadvantage. But I'd also think she has a disadvantage compared to Leaf because Leaf can use scrolls to level himself up a bit easier. He also has the Man-Star arc, and I think Leaf and Thracia has the most dibs when it comes to giving him items, so he just ends up being pretty good. I don't think Amelia has that Leaf thing where she has dibs on some items, because you can definitely recruit a lot of characters with Amelia on Seiso, but on Yabai, you're gonna need to use different characters. Like, I didn't know that you had to use Choco to recruit Mel here, because I don't know much about Mel, but I thought Amelia could recruit Mel, and no, she couldn't. Maybe on Seiso this will be different on a newer patch, but Amelia's not gonna be there to recruit things, or units, people. And heck, this isn't an Arcanea game, so she's not required to visit villages either. So I think the boots just goes to, like, anyone who's doing the better job at it. And heck, you even have a rally move here in terms of Polka. So you could give it to, like, any of your flyers, or someone favoritism here. Meow. But, yeah. Amelia's pretty good for her support. She's not there for the combat. She's there for the support. And in the end game, if she's gotten some levels, right? Because you want Amelia to get some levels. You don't want her to die, right? She gets the... Actually, this is more so spoilers. But she gets a weapon that gets plus 10 speed and attack, and also gives her Gale Force, a 16 might, and 90 hit. Currently, her attack stands at 56, because it's bringing her strength up to 40 right now. 56 times 2, that's 23 extra damage she's giving the people. Like, Amelia's thing just goes up, you know? She also has the combat stim, which increases damage for 5 turns, and she takes 5 damage for it. Honestly, it's gonna be great for chipping. Like, you can take a combat stim and then have her be in supportive positions, because this way, I'm not sure if the attack affects her unit stats in general, but I failed to say something about the combat sim. You only get 1, you get 10 of them, and by 10 you get 10 uses of it. But I'd say Amelia's best traits just come from her supportive capabilities, not from her combat. And heck, you could even say combat stim is a supportive item if it works the way I think it is with investigation. Like, honestly, it's harder to get Amelia kills than to set her up to help others with kills, because she's just so good at that. And she also has 2 leadership, which is already pretty good. Like, that's plus 10 hit and plus 6 avoid she's giving everyone. And there aren't many units of leadership. Like, if they do, it's even low. Like, 1 for Noel, but Pecora has 2. Muna has 1, which is funny enough. Luna has 2. And then Sora here has 3. We'll get to that later. But yeah, Amelia, pretty good. Pretty good. And now Reine. Also an A-tier unit. I wish there was a second portrait of Reine, because we'll get to that in a bit. Reine is your magic Jagan, and she's a better Jagan design-wise than most Jagans in the series. She isn't killing things, but she's definitely melting their HP stats, which is thank God. And she's also pretty tanky for the time you get her. Now let's look at Reine's skills here, because her base stats are already pretty good, but she has really low growth, so I just want you to be prepared for that. Like, let's look at her growth rates before looking at those base stats. She has 25 strength, 30 magic, 25 speed, 25 skill, 45 speed, 25 luck, 20 defense, 30 res. They aren't as low as Gunther's in Revelation, or maybe I got the info wrong. And she's got 120 HP. But the thing with Reine is that her base stats won't be her base stats for a long while. Let's talk about her bases. 32 HP. Highest HP you'll have in your army until you join, until you get Suisei. But the thing with Suisei, she still has 29 compared to 32. And if Reine somehow got a level up, whether it be from chipping or something, she's gonna get 33. And if you hit that 20% proc, 34. Like, this is what I'm saying, like, highest HP relative to the rest of your party. Let's see, who else joins beating her in HP? Polka with 50. But the thing with Polka, she's not a combat unit. The other unit that beats her in HP is Noel. And she's not gonna be joining you for a long while. And by the time Noel joins, Reine's stats will start to go down a bit. And then for her strength, also highest strength compared to the rest of your army until Suisei. Highest magic until you get Miko. But Miko's not fighting, so she's your highest magic mage for a bit. Heck, the only mage you get. Because the other one you get is Bae, who also has a pretty low growth on it, so don't rely on it. And then you get Nenechi, but she starts out as a Pegasus trainee, so she's not using that magic stat for a while. Let's see, any other mage here? Luna has 11, but she's healing. The other quote-unquote mage you get is Sora with 9 and Aski with 8. So that magic's going to stay relevant for a bit. 10 skill, she's already beaten by Fauna in that same chapter. But she's using swords, and she joins with wind magic. And she also happens to learn Wind Disciple, which means if she's under 100% HP, she gets plus 10 hit and avoid. Which means if she levels up somehow, you can just keep her not healed up at full unless you want to, or just let her take some chip damage and you're fine. And like, she's just really good at what she has to do, you know? She also learns rally speed at what is quote-unquote level 25. Since she's promoted, I think that means level 5 for her. That's giving your units a plus 7 speed. It boosts up Amelia's base speed from 7 to 14. Mumei's amazing 12 speed to 19, so she's dodge tanking. Fauna will probably be getting some kills easily. Suisei will probably be actually doubling. And Bae will have more chances to crit thanks to that rally speed. Nenechi to Watame will become more of a dodge tank. Polka becoming more of a tank in general because she won't get doubled. And Noel possibly doubling some of the slower units in the game. And I haven't even gotten to her luck. Her luck is pretty bad at 3, but she's your Jagan. Then it doesn't matter. She has high HP. Highest defense in your army until you get Polka. And that's only a 1 stat difference. Highest res in your army until you get Miko. But Miko doesn't have much HP. She's only joining with 18. And it's only a 3-point difference. Yes, a 3-point difference is huge, but the HP difference is higher, and so is the speed. She also has 13 con, so she can capture, and sits move. So she's not going to be outpacing your units like crazy like a regular Jagan would. Like, she's a lot like Soph from Radiant Dawn, but not as busted. Like, I would say part 3 Soph. Like, can set up the kills, but it's not going to be getting the kill. And honestly, I think that just makes Reine go into ATR automatically because she will fall off. She's not getting the same amount of experience as the other units because she's at a higher level. And her stats just basically stay like that until, you know, you think, oh, maybe reposition and rally speed won't be that good for me. Because, trust me, you want to bring that reposition because it's really good. Reposition is just good in general. Rally speed too, but once you start getting more units that do more things, it's like, why do I want to bring Reine? And honestly, it just comes back to rally speed. But at the same time, you're gonna be having units and situations where maybe rally speed isn't as valuable anymore, but Reine will still be there, and her stats just won't make up for it. Like, she'd essentially just be a discount Watame. I could say she's being S tier for just having precision and rally speed for all that time, but it would also be like FE6 Marcus situation where do you want to include the times where he is, being, rescue bot, instead of bringing someone to do that combat that can do the rescuing like him. But now, I think my opinion might change once I say this. Like, if Reine alone were just being the Jagan there, I think she'd be A tier, because now that I think about it, she's got this unique reposition and rally speed thing. This would alone make her A tier. And she's there for when your units need help with the chipping and all that stuff, Like, sure, Amelia can help with the chip, with her investigation, but she can also help Reine secure kills. Like, Amelia's definitely pretty good, thanks to that. But now, here's why I think Reine could be an S tier unit consideration. Someone who's played this game a bit more, has more Fire Emblem knowledge, can probably tell me differently, but she only goes up to S if you visit a specific guidance chapter that you would need all of the Hololive Indonesia members for. aka you need Zeta. You would need, who else is Holo Indonesia here pretty easily? Risu, another Indonesia member. I always forget them. Ollie, you definitely need Ollie. Muna, Kobo, who else was Indonesia? Kaela and Anya. And then the last one you get, Aofi. Like, if you don't visit that guidance chapter, you can kiss that Reine goodbye, because you're going to lose out on reposition. That sucks. But you're going to have Rally Spectrum. You're going to have a bunch of other rallies. Like, there are some secret events in the game. Sure, these aren't going to really apply to a blind playthrough. But, Rally Spectrum here is pretty great. But let's just say you got all of the Hololive Indonesia members. Like, these guidance will proc once you get all the members to a correspondent gen. Like, for example, you want to get Level Plus promotion, you need all the S rank weapons, aka all the legendary weapons, and Candy Staff, unbroken. It's an FE6 moment. And you want V7, aka Zeta, alive as well, along with the rest of Holo Ets, which would be Chloe, Louis, Iroha, and Koyori. But this Hololive Indonesia Gaiden has you fighting shadows of all of the members. And the easiest one to take down is, unironically, Rhaenys. And you might think, oh, how am I going to get to the rest of the map? Listen. Once we get to Aofi, Aofi is going to be all you need. And she's going to be contributing there as well with rally speed for Aofi. I didn't use Risu. I didn't use Muna. In fact, that's where I trained Muna. And maybe I should have focused on training Risu after seeing what people thought of her. Because apparently she might be overtuned. So for that, I might put her in B automatically. And then there's Anya and Kaela too. But Kaela doesn't do much combat. Neither does Kobo, because their stats, you kind of want to level them up to get them up to par. But they can chip and help there. She also has a unique Cameroon weapon, which is great. Your combat units for that map are literally going to be Anya and Aofi here. And you especially want to kill the Anya Shadow, because Anya gets a really good weapon out of that. So, yeah, it might not be too bad to give some of those plus 10 stat boosters to Aofi just to get through that map. With the shadows, or kill the shadows of the units you are using. Because you could kill all of them and get some pretty good weapons. But the thing is, right? Reine, if you kill the Shadow Reine, which is... she's only got stats in the 20s compared to the other ones, and they're in the lower 20s. Reine gets a boost to her stats. I think she got 80 HP when she, got there. When she promoted, technically. That's her promotion, essentially. And these stats, they go up to... They go... I don't know how far they go up. I should have recorded that. I don't know what the stat bonuses are, essentially. But right now, my Reine's got 38 speed as a level 14 Battle Sage. And Reine also gets a unique weapon, the Dire Thunder. It has 12 might, 65 hit, 12 weight, just like in Thracia, 1-2 range. But it grants certain blow. Basically, she's going to be able to hit the much more dodgier enemies in the late game. So Reine, if you do that Gaiden, she's becoming relevant again. And if she doesn't kill, she's setting up kills again. And you got reposition again. And you got rally speed again. And it's like, wow, Reine, what else can't you do? Maybe best unit in the game. But, you know, I'm not too sure. Maybe I'll do this. Your Jagan always being the best unit in the game. That's just crazy. But maybe I just won't order them. Just keep it like this. Maybe I'll just keep in order of appearance. There we go. Whatever. But yeah, Reine good. And now I'm gonna tier these two essentially the same because their performance kind of varies. Because remember, in the chapter you get them, you only have one selection whether you want... Excuse me, I just realized what I said. Selection is the name of Fauna's weapon, because, you know, nature selection and all that. And then Mumei has a unique weapon called Civilization. Here's the catch. You can only have one of them. And Fauna's weapon is, I would think, a lot easier to get. Maybe Mumei's, but I skipped out on Mumei's thinking, oh man, I can't get there in time. Forgetting there was a bridge, a snag, you could break and just get there in time. If anything, thinking about it, I think Mumei's might be easier to get. But these two are pretty good units, I would say, especially for the early game. Now, for a good long while, none of these units are going to have leadership stars. The one who has leadership right now is just Amelia. The next unit you get that has leadership is Noel right here. And I just want you to look at how many units you get. Okay, aside from Ina, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After these two, let me include Watame there too, until you get another leadership star. So we won't be mentioning leadership stars for a while. Mumei and Fauna's performances pretty vary, because Fauna's an archer in a hard Fire Emblem game, so you know she's pretty good. But the thing is, Selection is a pretty good weapon that then negates defense, so she's melting HP stats there. And if you stack that with Amelia's skill, she's killing things insanely quick. Not sure about Mumei's Civilization, but if it does the same thing, then Mumei's, gonna be your combat Amelia. You want your combat sword unit for the early part of the game, it's gonna be Mumei. Because, let's see, the next sword combat unit you get, like the next unit you get that uses swords, is Subaru. She's not fast enough for it. Like, you want a dedicated sword user. There's Muna, but she's also a cavalier. There's Kiara, but we'll get to her later on why you don't want to use swords much with her. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot about Pecora. Yeah, Pecora is your next sword unit, but she wants to do thief utility. I don't know why my Pecora just turned out kinda eh. I kind of regret not using Mumei much, because my Mumei got really blessed strength level ups. She should have not gotten those strength level ups. Whereas my Pecora leveled up like doo-doo. But however, dedicated sword unit, you don't have to train much Chloe. But if you want an actual sword unit, because this one, Okayu also a thief. Kaela, you kind of wanted her for support. Like, Kaela and Kiara have a little shared niche. I'll get to that later. Like, the next sword-focused unit you get is Fubuki, but she has another thing incoming, so she probably won't be using much swords. The next one that you get that's exclusively a sword user is Aqua, and then after that, Iroha. And after that, you could probably include Zeta. Like, Zeta obviously joins the same chapter as Muna, Rushia, and Pecora, but she leaves, so I consider her official joining time. In the same chapter, you get Aofi. Like, that's very little sword users you get. And then Crony has her own personal sword weapon. Like, Crony's obviously bonkers in stats, but Crony's literally there just for the final map. So Mumei has that niche of being your only sword user that isn't Amelia for a good long while. And there are weapons like killer weapons and stuff. And you could say, oh, what about Reine? She can use swords as well. That is true. She has 13 strength and can make excellent use of those swords. But the thing with Reine, right, is that you don't want Reine to get too many kills because her growths are just, bad. She isn't also getting that much EXP. And the thing is, Mumei has thief utility. She can steal things, And Mumei has 8 con, which is decent for the early game, She isn't doing anything that requires con stealing, but she is pretty fast there. And Reine isn't a particularly good user of the barrier blade because then they'll just attack your other units. I think Mumei's a particularly good user of the barrier blade. Better than Amelia, because Amelia's speed is pretty lacking. Like, Mumei and Fauna do the same thing of just chip, but Fauna's chip is better, whereas Mumei has the thief utility. But I think they both perform the same thing. But if you get Mumei's weapon, I think Fauna goes down a bit. But if you don't get Mumei's weapon, I think Fauna can just stay here just fine. Because Fauna's weapon selection just negates defense. So, rally speed from Reine. And she is just deleting enemy units. Problematic ones, Especially with Amelia's investigation, which is like a better rally strength to some degree. Well, not really, because then Amelia has to be there, adjacent to her. And it's much better for early game in case, you get not ATS users, Lance users. Because the ATS users aren't particularly too inaccurate, like in most Fire Emblem early games. So unless you're using Watame's Avoid Dance, Mumei's probably going to get hit once or twice. And Mumei isn't particularly the greatest tank in the game. I did upload a video saying, Mumei the thief tank, but that's because she's taking hits like a boss. What was I supposed to do? But I think both these units have their uses. Like, it definitely depends on which one's weapon you pick. Like, you pick selection, Mumei's just going to be early game shenanigans, because then you get Pecora, who can do thief shenanigans as well. Let's say you get Mumei's weapon, but not Fauna's. You get Flare, who's got better strength. Like, she's got better offenses. And Fauna does not. But Fauna does have, like, a little event at the end of the game where she can get Rally Spectrum. But then, here's the thing. She'd be just doing Rally Spectrum most of the time. So, yeah, like, if you're using Fauna, definitely bring her to learn Rally Spectrum. Not sure if Mumei has a secret event as well that can give her something. But definitely, like, using Rally Spectrum is a reward for Fauna. Like, Fauna's late game can definitely snowball, because she also has a personal skill that just grants her +2 move. Like, in fact, I haven't looked at their skills. I've just been yapping about them. Let's see, where is Fauna? There she is. Fauna has... She also learns Lily's Poise, which is Elise's skill from Conquest, which adjacent allies gain +1 damage and -3 damage dealt. So she could also help Mumei deal damage, She also learns Point Blank. No, wait, I think that's a marksman skill. Never mind. Oh, yeah, the skill she gets is Nature Rush. If units on rough terrain, gains +2 move. Like, do you know how much +2 move can stack up? She's getting 7 move in many outdoor chapters. Like, you get a lot of outdoor chapters before you get your first indoor chapter. So she's definitely doing a lot. She's doing, like, a lot. And as for Mumei, I think I have her skills here too. Indoor March and Bargain. She has... So Mumei, she's definitely the thief utility character. She also has Forager, which recovers 20% HP each turn if units on Plain Forest or Mountain, which is pretty great. She has Indoor Fighter, and... Oh, I think when Rogues promote, she gets Steel Plus. Never mind. I was thinking about something else. But, honestly, you want good combat that can give you Rally Spectrum at the end? Use Fauna and get her weapon. You want the early game Thief that can get you Bargain for cheaper weapons? Get Mumei. But at the same time, I don't think there's many things you want to buy in this game. You can buy staffs in this game, like Sleep and Silence. You can also buy Warp for a whopping 10,000 gold. Wait, does Bargain stack with a silver card? If it does, I should have been using Mumei more. Like, I'm gonna keep both those units in A tier because I think their performances greatly depend on which weapon you got first, because unlike Reine, who has things outside of her combat, Mumei really doesn't. And you can learn Steel Plus as a scroll later on, and you can just give it to like anyone here with huge con to steal it. It's taking up a skill slot. I was gonna say a steal slot. A skill slot. So it's kind of like, why are you using Mumei in the first place? You can level her up for Bargain, but at that point just use a silver card to just capture some guys. I don't know. Or you could just capture guys and sell them off in stores, you know? Because there's going to be some maps where there's no time restrictions, but there are some maps that are some time restrictions. And then over-capturing can just be a Thracia thing. But if you're capturing the weapons, then you can just save your money for staffs. And staffs are pretty good in this game. Like, I'm definitely not putting Mumei in S, because if your Mumei's not leveling up for Bargain, like, if you don't want her for Bargain, what is she doing, honestly? What is she doing? Is she just doing lockpicking stuff if you don't promote her to a rogue? Because here's the thing. Later in the game, you get a lot of holo emblems, but early on, you don't get a lot of holo emblems. Like, the holo emblems, I feel like they've been numbered for the units you will be using for the rest of the game. Well, not for the rest of the game, but for a good chunk of the game. Because if you could promote everyone early on, I think that would create a bit of a problem, you know? But at the same time, actually, I might be talking just pish-posh out here. You know, I think both those units are good. They have their utility. But if I were to move one of them down, probably Fauna. Because you want Rally Spectrum on Fauna, you gotta get that secret event at Chapter 20. And sure, Rally Spectrum is good and all. You can also do combat with it. But, yeah. Like, you don't get it till really late in the game. And you can definitely just give items to the plus 10 stats to some characters that would really want them on a specific one. And just make her Rally Spectrum a bit of an ignorance there. Like, you don't need it. But it's definitely easy to get. So, I think these characters can just stay there. And I did forget to mention that Fauna can promote to Ranger. So she gets Cav movement plus 2. It's like playing Engage with the Sigurd ring on a Cavalier, Fauna. Like, damn. But yeah, you definitely want to use Fauna for her selection if you are using her. And then as for Mumei, Bargain is pretty good. But if she isn't, you know, doing good in the level ups, or if you think her usefulness is being outlived by something else, then you can just leave her be. Or you could just grind up her levels in the early game, give her a holo emblem, promote her up, and then just grind her a bit more if you can. Like, maybe feed her some of the pre-promotes that are in the early game to get her to a level or something. As long as she reaches her level of 25. I don't know how the levels work. Like, if you promote at level 10, does that bring you up to 21 somewhat? Or do you need to promote at 20 to then be at 21? For Bargain and stuff. I don't know how that works, but let's just say it works the second way around. So you would definitely have to promote Mumei at 20 to get the most out of her. And I think her better class is Rogue. As for Fauna's, I did go Sniper, because I was thinking, you know, she's going to be getting in a lot of rough terrain, and Cavaliers get a lot of reduced movement, so maybe not. But as it turns out, it doesn't matter if you're on rough terrain or anything. As long as your unit can go into rough terrain, she's getting that +2 movement, it seems. It might be some false information. My apologies to any of the developers that worked on it, Search For Seiso. If someone can explain it to me in the comments, I would appreciate that. Now let's go to Miko. This is a bit of a stretch. Let me say this is a bit of a stretch because Miko is a staff unit. Miko is going to promote really, really fast. I wouldn't say really fast because the thing with Miko... Hold on, I'm going to open the door. It's getting real hot. Actually, I won't. The thing with Miko is that Miko, I think, is just kind of bonkers when she starts snowballing. Because the thing with her is that she has elite. Because, you know, elite Miko, elite English, elite baby, elite Miko. What else is elite? Well, she had a Coca-Cola sponsorship, so elite Coca-Cola. Nothing beats Coke Zero, though. And I'm just saying, missed opportunity to use Mio for the ad campaign because she's also black and red. I'm just saying. But she can heal at the early game. You know when you get your next healer? Lamy. Look how many units you get after Miko to get to Lamy. Now let's look at Miko's skills because, sure, they're both healers. Lamy has Power Staff, so she can do the Guild Force Staff thing, and she has Seal Magic. Maybe I should try Lamy once in a bit. She has Focus, Drive Resistance, and Charisma. Actually, I'll rank Lamy here as well. She also has Charisma, which is, you know, Charm. But the thing that I think just kind of makes Miko snowball is that Elite. It's literally just Elite. Like, experience gain is doubled. And the thing is, right, she's a pretty good candidate for the re-debut items. Re-debut works like the Juna Fruit and Sacred Stones, except it's always a guaranteed 5 levels that you downgrade. Like, Miko is definitely a let her get there unit. I also think she's one of the best candidates for the 2 master proofs you get in the game. Some classes can promote into a 3rd tier class, aka the only ones I managed to see were Battle Sage, which is what I promoted Miko into, and Marksman, which is what I promoted Fauna into. But the thing with Miko, right? I forgot, I didn't mention this. She learns Devil's Pact, immune to Devil Reverser. So she's great to deal with the small Ames. And not only that, I'm not sure if she learns Seal Attack from something else or Alert Stance Plus from something else, because only 2 skills are listed here on the learned. But if you get her to 20 and then promote her, she learns Cultured. Maybe she'll have to level up once for Cultured, but I've already explained what makes that so good for Ame. You know? Like, for units that Ame's around with. So Miko can, let's say, heal Ame, and then heal Fauna. If she, she doesn't have this in the early game doi, but, you know, late game moment, you're gonna be having a lot of units that lose HP when doing things like, Kiara has Fury. You can get Fury visiting Sora. You can, I'm assuming you've already played the game because, you know, everyone's here. And Kurokami can be healed up by Miko. And if someone with nice dice happens to be nearby, she just gets to do a lot more. Like, you could say, oh, but Power Staff is more consistent. You're right, it is. But at the same time, Miko being next to Amelia is just a powerhouse. And now let me go back to Lamy and see at what level she learns Power Staff. Because what I like about this game is that everyone has like a use. There's no one that just feels underpowered. She learns it at level 30. And it's going to be a lot harder for her to get to level 30 than Miko is to level 21. Definitely, if I were to make a nerf to someone, definitely remove Cultured from Miko. Replace it with something else. So then Lamy has a bit of more of a chance to shine out. Lamy also has Charm. But actually, yeah, Charm does give her a bit of an edge. But there are many ways to increase hit rate here, which I like. Like, you definitely want to increase your hit rates here more than your avoid. Because there will be situations where there are leadership star enemies just roaming about with a ton of them. So you want those hit rates to work against, you know, those enemy units. Or then you're going to have to be rigging stuff and shenanigans, you know? AKA, everybody, try Seiso mode first before going to Yabai. Don't do what I did. But yeah, Miko's just too good. Now let's look at her base. I already said she had 18 HP, which is whack. Let's see, 18 HP, 4 strength. You know what? Her strength won't really matter much because, you know, she's got a lot of levels to go to. So let's just look at her growth rates after this. Then she has 10 magic. She has more magic than your Jagan. I already said this earlier. She has 7 skill, 9 speed, 6 luck, 4 defense, and she also, 9 resistance, 5 move, 8 con. Sorry again. So the thing with Miko is that her stats don't particularly seem too great, but she's just gonna start snowballing like crazy. Like, if we look at her growth rates, let's look them up. 40 strength, 50 magic, 50 skill, 40 speed, 20 luck, 25 defense, 25 resistance, 70 HP. She's gonna get a fuck ton of HP. Her strength and speed, I wish they could be a little higher, but 40% isn't that bad. She has 50 magic and 50 skill, so she's gonna get decent magic and decent hit rates while at it. Her luck's gonna be the worst thing that she has. But honestly, she already has Devil Reverser. And she comes with Miracle. So she's taking a beating from any crit. I just think Miko's kind of bonkers, but not too bonkers. Like, you definitely have to get her there. But she doesn't start out as an S tier unit. But, you know, you could move her down to A because of that, because it definitely turns into more of a, oh, you using her or not, you know, type of deal. But I want to put her in S. But I guess things are telling me she starts out as a healer. So, And, like, the thing with Miko, right? She can also promote into, like, a battle stage when she uses the Master Proof, which lets her use light, anima, staffs, and swords. Like, there are 2 battle stages, the Reine one and the Master Proof one. The Master Proof one is better. I also saw that she learned Wind Disciple, so that may be a thing from the classes. Wind Disciple might be a class skill for the sages, for battle sages. But I just think Miko's just kind of bonkers. But the thing is, she has to get there first. Like, there's also, like, if she's gonna promote first, right? There aren't many monster enemies that take advantage of Slayer. Like, using Slayer definitely comes in at the end when you start facing more monsters. But then the end goes back in again and you start facing regular units again. So I don't know what you really want to say there. But I just think Miko's just kind of bonkers. I just think she's bonkers in general. Like, maybe the fact that she has to get there would not put her in S. But I've also seen people put Vanessa in S in Sacred Stones, and you definitely have to get her there because she isn't dealing much damage. Oops, I touched my nose with the microphone. I'm gonna do it again. Maybe put her in S. Maybe put her in S. Put her in S. I think I'd say put her in S. But you know, I like Miko. I like Miko. I genuinely love using Miko. Since I was talking a lot about Lamy, let me cover her too. Let's look at her bases. I have them here in an Excel sheet. Lamy. Context for Lamy. She joins around the same time Louis and Laplace join. You have to talk to her, one of her gen mates. These being Polka or Botan, or I think the best candidate for it being Botan. Not Botan, I mean Polka, because she can rally move after talking to her, so she can just get everyone else out of there. But the thing with Lamy is that she starts out as an enemy. She will heal enemy units, so if you're trying to cheese out the reinforcements for EXP, she's gonna waste your heals. So you want to get her quickly. She also has the first Hamern staff in the game. And C rank staffs, like all unpromoted classes cap their rank at C. So hold on, I put a pillow on this chair and it slid through the cushions, and now it bothered me once I touched it. Thank you. Let's read those stats. She has 32 hit points, 1 strength, 13 magic, 7 skill, 15 speed, 10 luck, 2 defense, 15 resistance, 5 move, 8 con. Wow, maybe I might have underestimated her. Darn, I didn't take into account which level she joined. But it's definitely in the double digits, because I remember giving her exactly just 1 level or 2. I think she joins at level 15. But she's definitely going to have better offenses than Miko. But Miko's going to be working with more levels. Like, I would say Lamy needs a little bit of a buff, because her growth rates aren't really that great either. 35 strength, 50 magic, 35 skill, 45 speed, 45 luck, 15 defense, 50 res, 45 HP. Definitely comparable growths to Miko. I also put the con here wrong. I think it might be 6. Maybe Lamy isn't as great as I thought. But she learns Power Staff. And the next Power Staff unit you get is Towa right here. And that's really late in the game. I'll rank Lamy since I was just bashing on her. I think she's C or B. I think she might be the first B tier unit. Because the thing with Lamy is that she's serviceable. She is plenty serviceable. But Miko is just like, wow. Like, obviously there'll be a point where you're like, maybe I need 2 healers. But then you got Luna here, who's a mounted healer with 2 leadership stars. So it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Lamy? She definitely feels like a Miko replacement. So if your Miko is dead, like if you're Iron Manning, she's a serviceable replacement. Because you don't want Luna to die unless you got 1 use left on the Candy Staff. You can't hammer in the Candy Staff. And if you want to get the Laplace promotion, if you're using Laplace, then, you know, Luna, you know, is going to be there for you and all of that. I'll put her in B because she's going to have to replace Miko. She's definitely serviceable too, like I said. And there's a Gaiden with the gen where she, Botan, Polka, and Nenechi are from. I think Watame is also from there as well. Someone double check. I need someone to double check both Fire Emblem mechanics and Hololive mechanics. I can't believe I'm saying this. But, yeah, B tier. But I'm going to do a little cut here after rating one more unit, Suisei, because it's been going for an hour. And Suisei, I think, she's definitely gives early game fighter vibes. I think I'll put her in C. Okay, maybe not so much in C. But I think C fits. Because Suisei definitely hits hard and she's accurate. But she's also pretty slow. Like, she's not gonna get some of those speed level ups. She's definitely gonna be relying on brave weapons or crits. And she's definitely plenty crit focused. Like, and she has a lot of con too. Like, my promoted Berserker Suisei has 19 con. Diablo. I just noticed this tier list was made using her old portrait. She has a new one in game. She learns Mage Slayer and Ad's Faith. Honestly, pretty good skills. Let's see what Mage Slayer does. Plus 2 damage and plus 10 crit when facing magical enemies. Pretty nice. You're gonna see a lot of those in the late game where you wanna, deal with them. Urgh. Her growth rates aren't really much to write home about. She has 65 strength, her best growth, because the second best one is 60 on HP, but you already expect that from a fighter. High HP, high strength. But unlike actual fighters, she has a decent skill growth of 55. And her defense and resistance, they're both at 30, what I would expect from a fighter. 35 speed. Definitely not too bad, because I already said 40 is serviceable, like it's decent. But, you would definitely like it to be 40. Let's look at her bases. 29 hit points, 13 strength, 2 magic, 8 skill, 8 speed, 5 luck, 6 defense, 3 res, 5 move, and a whopping 17 con. Honestly, she's a capture bot. And she's there for a lot of the game when you need damage. She also has Frenzy for every 4 damage taken plus 1-2 damage dealt. So if she's losing HP, she's going to get a lot of, damage on you. She learns Wrath. And then if you promote to Berserker, she gets a plus 15 crit. So that's alright, 35 crit if she's below 50% HP. She also has high skill and Vantage. And if she's attacking a mage with like a hatchet or something, that would be 45 crit already. And if she's with a support partner, even more. And Ad's Faith, oh, like Suisei's definitely not doubling anything. She's probably a glass cannon. But like, definitely not much cannon. Like, she's definitely gonna be hitting things. She has pretty good skill, but honestly, it feels like a classic fighter moment. Like, if your fighters ain't doing much in levels, it's like, you kind of don't want to use it as much. And then for honestly, I just don't have much to say about Suisei. I think if she had a personal brave weapon, it would boost her up to A tier, definitely. But maybe B sounds more accurate because of her 17 con, allowing you to capture just about anyone, along with using Amelia's investigation to secure the hit. And you have Watame there. Like, you get Suisei in chapter, I think it's 3. No, you get it in chapter 2. You get it pretty early. So maybe C isn't justifiable for her. But you get it in chapter 2. You know how many enemies will have more than 17 con? Barely anyone. You can just capture units, save your money, and not have to buy weapons for it. Or heck, if you're not using any of their weapons that you've captured, you can just sell them. But yeah, Suisei is definitely a must-use unit, but it's definitely not a, like, I want to say super must-use unit. Like, she's there. Use her. is what I'm saying. Like, she definitely has the early game utility of dealing damage. You know, you're going to see some Lance users. And you got a Sword Slayer, I think, pretty on? Or was it just Sword Weaver? Or am I just having a Mandela effect? I don't remember what it was, but you get plenty of Halberdier reinforcements in a few chapters. You also get a ton of just Cavaliers. Like, Suisei's there for it. But once your army starts getting a bit more diversified, units start getting up in their damage output, she's not gonna, you know, do the snowball effect that you would want her to, because she's not going to be doubling much. She's gonna be relying on the crit, but the crit won't be much either. The most your gain is 55. You're gonna, like with a Killer Rats, no, not 55, 45. Killer Rats, that brings it to 75. But the thing is, right, you want her to at least, you know, just be able to hit the enemy if her crits aren't gonna be doing much. And she's an ads fighter, so she's gonna struggle with it. Let's look at her base skill. Her skill is 8. I would definitely bump it up to 10. Because even in the early game, she could have some shaky hit rates, but that's already At's user moment. Like, Suisei definitely wants to be a berserker. She has the skill for it, and she would like the speed boost, which is opposite to the other At's focused user again in the game, Marin, who's a pirate, so you're thinking, oh, berserker? But I think Marin might have more potential as a warrior. I should try that on my next run. But Suisei, definitely good. But she's not bringing as much to the table as these 6 units could be doing. If anything, if I were to bump her up a bit, she will probably be the worst of them, because once you get to chapter, I think it's 4. I think it's chapter 4. Basically, once you get Noel, that she can also just capture, and Noel doesn't have the insane con that Suisei has. Actually, never mind. She has 16 con. She has 1 less con than Suisei. But yeah, Suisei's definitely pretty good. But you'll see that other units will just replace her niche and stuff. And as in terms for mage slaying, most of the problematic mages you'll face in game are monsters. There are some problematic mages in the final map, but Crony, you got Crony there to deal with them. You've got tanky units. Heck, you even get Iroha to deal with them. Like, Suisei is definitely the early game fighter archetype, aka you're good for what the game designed you to be. If someone else wants to use you for the later parts of the game, then, you know, keep it at that. Keep it at that. Pretty, you know, pretty serviceable for what she wants to do. But I tried to promote her. I probably should have promoted Sora first, honestly. And just keep Suisei as a chip bot. But, yeah. I'll be doing a cut. I'll see you all in a later bit. Just to let my mental opinions just kind of go in a bit more fluently. Because I think if I try to do all of them in 6 hours, I think I'm going to let some things slip. Like, I have some notes for these first units and some other ones down there, but I should definitely try to recompile for the rest of them. I'll see you all in a bit. Now, to units that go after Suisei, another one that I think is kind of like a bit of an early game use, but I've seen people who had good uses with her, is Bae. in my personal experience, she's kind of like C. Like, she's good for that one chapter. And she just kind of relying on crits if she isn't doubling. Like, let me load up my ROM again. Then look at her skills. Let's specifically look at, you know, what they do, honestly. Let me make sure the sound is off. Yeah, it's on mute, which is good. Search For Seiso. Yeah, you want that. Then, just restart the chapter, I guess. But the thing I want to say about Bai is that, yeah, you can definitely tell this is the offensive unit. Like, she is definitely all offense. She doesn't have much, how I would say, just magic dealing damage. Like, all of that is specifically for her crit. Like, anything she wants to do is just for the crit, honestly. As for her, personally, she has a unique weapon. I think I still have it here. But honestly, I just didn't use her much. She didn't appeal to me much. Sorry for the Bai fans. She has Crit Plus and Killing Machine. I don't know what Crit Plus does, but I do know what Killing Machine does. I say that and I forget what it is. It's because I've seen it in a thing. Okay, like, she learns Wrath. She has Chaotic, base critical skill times 1.5, and Focus, plus 10 critical, there are no allies, and Wrath. And let's look at these growth rates a little better. 25 Strength, 25 Magic. Strength is only useful if she learns like, if she gains enough Strength, that would be for the, you know, what's wrong with me? Yeah, the physical animatome. Jeez. Okay, let's look at her base magic. It's 7. It's 7. Well, 25% growth. You got a lot of magic rings. If we're being fair, you can give her that. Then, like, let her go off on it. But she runs into this problem of, okay, she doesn't have any offensive stat growths. Like, I think I promoted her to Sage, and I got her +2 magic, I think, or maybe she did get 1 magic level up. Like, this was in case I would get a Gaiden that would require the Holo EN Council members, but I guess I didn't. Like, she has low-ish growths everywhere else. Like, the defense and resistance aren't that bad at 35. She has 45 HP, expected of a Sage. And her con, how much is her con again? Oh, she has 7 con. Sweet. Or maybe that might be wrong. It was my first time looking at this with FE Builder, so some things could be a little wrong here. Not too wrong, like, I mean, like 1 or 2 points, I think. Because I had to calculate it. And I'm bad at summing up things sometimes. Honestly, I just don't like Bai that much. I think she can be a nuke, but I feel that her base magic is kind of like her early levels kind of determine what she can turn into. Because if she isn't proccing any magic level ups until you get that first magic ring, there are gonna be better users, because you could give her like 3 magic rings, and honestly, this is a Hololive ROM hack. You're gonna have an Oshi. My Oshi is Mio, and I saw Mio's base speed, and it's pretty slow. And then I gave her the speed wings, or the coffees. So yeah, like, honestly, just use whoever you want. But for me, Bai was kind of a C tier. Like, she's really relying on a lot of that crit, because you can fix up the magic if you're using her, because a lot of magic units here have decent growths. And that speed, she can definitely get a lot of speed level ups. She has that covered too. Honestly, I think I might be being a little unfair to Bai. She can be a nuke, but I just don't like using her that much. Like, she's definitely gotta get her there. You know, like Miko, but not not to the sense I would agree with. Also, you're gonna face a lot of enemies that have Miracle plus Counter. So maybe critting won't be the best thing. Okay, maybe it might be. But then you're at the risk of, 1 HP. Maybe I'll take the things back because there's a lot of high HP pools in the later parts of the game. So you kinda want that high crit and high speed, which she definitely has both. And I didn't even finish reading her growths, right? I mean her base stats. She has 12 skill, which is pretty good. 10 speed, 8 luck, 4 defense, 6 res, and 5 move. I just want to say that Bai kinda depends on how she's doing in the early levels. Because if her early levels are kinda awful, then she won't be doing much. But if she gets at least a few good levels, then I think she could go places. Or you could just early promote her and just have her a bit of a crit bot until you can just clutch out units with more consistent stats and stuff. Because I think Bai is one of those few early units that can just kind of stay relevant for a long while if you actually do manage to get some nice magic on her. But it's really dependent on whether she can get magic or not, and if you're willing to give her that magic ring for her. Because this is assuming Bai is your Oshi. But if Bai is not your Oshi, then you're definitely not gonna give her the magic ring. Like, maybe you might give the magic ring to Miko. Actually, maybe not Miko, because I think Miko is the unit with least dibs, like negative dibs on I want to say stat boosters, because she has Paragon, and there are re-debuts in the game. I think there's like 3 total I've seen, because I remember giving 2 to me and 1 to Miko. That's 15 extra levels she can gain, and if you master-proof her, that's another 20. You could give the re-debuts to any of the trainee units who have the better growths. I just happen to give mine to Miko. Yay! So there's that. In fact, thanks to the re-debuts, I kind of thought of another thing you could potentially be doing. But I'll save that for the character that comes up with. Because I saw it on a post when someone did it with La Plus before making her into La Place. But honestly, Bai's just kind of a B tier for me. Like, the offensive skills of skill and speed are strong. She has the crit for it. But she does not have the magic to keep up with it. Like, there will be units with higher res stats. And I think the magic rings will go better into staff users. Sure, I think this was, like, direct promoted to Sage. Let me check what rank she has. She has D rank. Miko is probably gonna get like somewhere almost to B rank when she promotes to a Sage or Bishop. I prefer Bishop. Lamy too. So it's like, or heck, maybe Luna's gonna be able to get the staff rank. And I've heard Risu being overtuned, but not Bai. Like, Bai is definitely a nuke, but you must invest in the nuke. And I prefer putting my magic on units that can use the staffs, because of the many things you can do with staffs here and how easily accessible they are. They are expensive. I had to hold my breath for that one. But you can definitely buy them. There are chances to, just kind of steal them. There's a place you can buy sleep staffs. There's a place you can buy warp staffs. Granted, you have the money for it. And as of this video, I think warp and rescue are no longer hammerable. So you definitely want some money for a warp staff. At least one. Because you will need it for late game. And I feel like with Bai's low growth, it just kind of tells me maybe I shouldn't be investing too much into this unit. But that's just me. So I think it's B tier. because she has a lot of high crit. You can't necessarily put that away because she can definitely just randomly kill a unit right there, or she's not killing, you know, a lot of good chunk of that HP away. Like, she's like, if you have to use her, you have to use her, but she has less uses than Suisei. So that's why I put her a bit lower. Definitely, you can reach 100 crit builds with her, but you have to invest into her on her magic stat. But I feel that's fine, because if her magic stat growth were like 35, then that would be a bit too much. And 30, it wouldn't be too much, but it would definitely just make her like, oh my god, you must use her. So I think 25 is alright just for that. If anything, you could increase her strength growth, you know? But then that would be the increase the critique of, oh, then why is the strength growth so low then for a mage? And if you increase the strength growth but train up her animal rank, then that just makes her exclusive user of the explosion tomes. Like, I don't know what, honestly, to do with Bai. Because the crits are also a bit iffy, because she doesn't have the best hit rate early on. Yes, you can solve that, but it isn't as easily as solvable as the speed, because Reine is there, you know, so the speed problem's are not an issue. But sometimes she's just doing so little amount of damage, so it's like you're using your crits to deal a regular amount. That's just my and that's just like my criticism with Bai. Like, she's just all crit, but not much else. I will say she has the speed for it, though, so maybe she's one of the few units in the game that you can give, like, the Master Proof to, and she can reach the 50 speed cap, and then go just crazy on the final maps of the game. Polka is honestly going to be the simplest one to, you know, just rate. I think she can just go A tier, because it's not Effie Sits Merlinus where he just dies to anything. Polka dies, she doesn't go into game over, right? Because she's not a unit like that can use weapons. I need to check that, honestly. But the thing with Polka is that she can carry weapons for you, like Effie Sits Merlinus and Effie 7 Merlinus if he's been promoted. But unlike those two, she actually has base stats, and she levels up like FE7 Merlinus and has a lot of bulk. She has a lot of bulk. And I think that bulk is pretty good. She works like a Fasudo Phantom in a way with all that bulk. Sure, she won't retaliate, but she also has Rally Move and Spur Defense. Is it Spur Defense or Drive Defense? Which one was it again? But see, the thing with her is that her levels depend on how much you've deployed her. So if it's like a movement-intensive map, she's perfect for it, because she can just give you movement. Let's see, she has Drive Defense. Yeah, it's Drive Defense. And she also has Canto Plus at base. And at some point, she learns Drive Resistance. So it's like, you know, why the heck not? But the thing is, for Polka, she has 25 con, essentially, because her con is 30 minus 5. So, you know, it's like, what the heck, man? What do you want? Yeah, I put 25 here as well. I think I took the tent bases. Like, she's effectively got 35 con. You could rescue her later in the game when you get the Space Seal, which grants plus 10 con. But she has Rally Move. Like, she's the one unit in the game you don't want to rescue. Yes, you can warp her around in the later parts of the game, but you want to use your warp and rescue for better things. Maybe rescue on Polka wouldn't be too bad, because there was one map in the game where the shop's way in the back. And if the Galzis... Actually, if you're seeing this video, you've already played the map. If Crony's chasing you and you're still not at the end to, you know, just seize the gate because you want to recruit Towa, Mel, and get some of the chest, then, yeah, that's the one time you would want to use the rescue staff on her. But honestly, you kind of don't need to. Because you can just plan what you need to shop. And it's not like you're going to have a vast amount of money. There's no arenas in the game, at least that I know of. I didn't see any arenas, so there's no way to infinite grind money. Like, if you want money, you need to get that money now. You need to train up the trainee. You're training them in the map. You got them. Like, geez, bruh. So, it really is just, hey, how much do you value having your convoy being portable and also being a bulky unit like a Phantom? Okay, Phantoms are not bulky, but they do take a hit from something. But she's not taking a hit from Crony, I know that much. But, yeah. Polka good. Polka good for a simple reason. Polka's good. She's definitely not S, because you can definitely go maps without her. Actually, I could put her in B, but she brings so much utility thanks to having the supply with her. Like, she can trade to other units. She can even take trade items from captured enemies. I think she can even take them too, right? I don't remember. I think she can. Either way, she can just take a captured enemy's item into the convoy. So you don't have to deal with that. And it's just like, wow. Just, wow. You know? It's great. It's great. It's great. Like, it's great. Like, she's good support. You know? That's all I gotta say about Polka. Honestly, you could put her in B. You could put her in B. I think I like to put her in A because she has Rally Move early on. And the map you get her in is an escape chapter at the end once you've defended her. Then you get a bunch of maps that are really movement intensive, like the one where you get Luna, Subaru, and Aki and Choco. Sorry for the grammar there, but when you get those 4 units, it's really movement intensive. Not because you have to go anywhere real quick, because it's a Fen map, but the chests you want to go to are pretty scattered about, so you want to plan for that. And then the map before then, you want to rush to the castle to get to Luna before Flare and Noel are overwhelmed with enemies, because you will get reinforcements at the end, at the bottom, you know? The ballistas ain't gonna do much there, so you know. I mean, Nenechi could fly over Amelia and seize. Wait, can she? I don't think Nenechi has the con for it, does she? Let me check the bases for Nenechi. Nenechi has 8 con. Yeah, she should be rescuing Amelia. Unless the aid formula is screwing me somehow. I don't remember how it works. But, you know, there's still the house at the bottom. So... But honestly, this is a game where... Okay, you know, you could definitely cheese the map. You could definitely cheese the map. Just move Amelia there. No, wait a minute. It's not a seize, it's a defend. No, wait, yeah, you can't cheese the map, it's a defend. I think I remember now. Actually, I haven't... Actually, I played the map and I forgot what the objective was. That is actually crazy, but let's just go to Nenechi, who I think is solid A. And honestly, I could put her in B. Okay, she's a trainee unit. She's gonna get stats, you know, really quick. But before I do, I forgot to list Polka's bases. 50 HP, strength and magic don't matter, and they're 0 either way. 11 skill doesn't matter. Speed actually matters at 13. 3 luck actually matters. That's bad. 10 defense, 10 res, and 25 con, 6 move. Okay, going back to Polka before going to Nenechi, she has the move of a infantry unit or thief, but your infantry units that aren't Mumei or Reine, they're moving at 5, so she's still going to be outspeeding everyone in the movement department until they start promoting. And even then, she still got Kanto, so she can just rally move Kanto forward. Like, there's no reason for her never to not be moving forward, unless you don't want to field her for one map. But, you know, each time she levels up, she's got decent bulk for it too. Her growth rates go to... It goes to 80 hit points, 40 skill, 120 speed, luck, defense, and resistance. Which is perfect. Everything that isn't strength and magic has a higher than 50% growth, and anything that isn't hit points, strength and magic, and skill has, you know, over 100%. Oh, wait a minute. Skill is 40. But skill doesn't matter for Polka. But I'm just saying, Polka good. Each time she levels up, that's +1 to all of her defensive stats, possibly +20. And she's always gonna get speed and luck, so she can even avoid attacks too. Like, Polka's just good. She's good support. And she's giving you rally move in a part of the game where you can't be moving much. Like, she's gonna give Fauna 8 move, basically. And if you promote Fauna into a sniper so she can get 6 move, that creates 9 move. Ranger for 7 move, that's gonna be 10 move. That's a 10 move unit there. And depending on your choices early on, you can get a boots to someone. You could probably give it to Polka, and then she can just be giving rally move to everyone. Like, I'm just gonna keep Polka at A because that's all she can do. Like, rally move and give the supply chains. And if it's not a map where you think you want anything valuable, like, let's see, there's a map with some chest on it. Okay, you want to field her for that. So, you know, she can hang on to chest keys, or she be the one that opens the key, the chest, the doors, all that stuff. If you're not fielding a thief. Or she could also just be holding on to extra staffs for your staff users that also doing combat. I just think Polka's solid in general. But back to Nenechi. She's a trainee Pegasus Knight, and her bases aren't too bad in the attack areas. Like, let's look at those base stats. She has... How much HP was it? It was pretty low. That was 20. That's bad for that point in the game. Sure, Amelia joined in 19, Miko joined with 18, but at that point, they gotta be, like, having, what, 25 or something? And Suisei's probably already gotten, like, 32, depending how much you use her. And then Nenechi has 6 strength, 6 magic. The only person she beats in strength at that point is Miko and Bai. As for magic, Nenechi beats out everyone who isn't Miko, Bai, and Reine. So those are pretty good stats she has there. But like, the strength is kind of tragic, but the magic is there. She has 8 skill, just decent. 12 speed, also decent. Mumei has 12, and she was pretty fast. 10 luck, so she's gonna be avoiding things. But 3 res and 3 defense, 2 res. Her res is a little low for a Pegasus trainee unit. Pretty sad. And then she has 7 move and 8 con. She has the highest move out of anyone in your party at the moment. And I think that's a bit of a consideration, you know? And she has 2 promotion options. Magic Girl, which then goes into Maho Girl, which uses lances and magic. Which honestly sounds like a way more fun class to use than just regular Pegasus Knight. But the thing with Nenechi is that sure, she is a trainee unit, but she'll feel like Ross. The growths won't be that good, but she's definitely gonna have the levels and time for it. Like, from magic, strength, and hit points, it's all 45. So is speed, and everything else is also a bit subpar. Like, his skill is 35, luck is 30, defense is 35. Actually, the defense is pretty high for, like, someone of her, you know, archetype, a Pegasus Knight / mage, and 40 resistance. Like, she can level up both her magic and strength pretty evenly, and I think which the promotion you go to depends on which level she gains first. I think she gains +1 strength for Peg Knight. I did not try Magic Girl because I was like, Ooh, Pegasus Knight. We gotta get that, everybody. Yeah, but I also didn't train Nenechi that well. I wasn't giving her much kills because in the map she joins, she was getting pretty killed often. But if we go to Nenechi's like skills, she has a really good one in particular. Where is Nenechi, honestly? Nenechi, mata nene. I cannot find Nenechi. Oh dear, I think she might have disappeared. No, wait, there she is, Nene. Like, these are her strength and magic as a Falcon Knight. I didn't give her any strength or magic boosters, I think. She has 33 strength and 36 magic, so it's gonna level up pretty good, but her speed was pretty slow. It's 18. She went to level 20 Pegasus Knight, and that speed is awful. I gave her Lance Fair, and that didn't help much. Like, Nenechi has lightweight. When holding 3 or less items, attack speed +3 during combat. She joins with a Slim Lance. She's essentially getting +5 speed. Also at level 10, she gets Seal Speed. You know what that does? Debuffs opponent's speed by 6 after combat. So her low speed won't be that bad either. And then for Poise, which is a skill she learns at level 21, +1 move negates enemy hit bonus from weapon triangle advantage. So she can just attack ATS users. Okay, maybe not recommended because then she won't be able to dodge as much. Ooh, 29 HP, I just noticed that. Like, my Nenechi leveled up strength and magic pretty well, but not much else. She also has Lance, and you can give her Lance Fair too if your Nenechi leveled up with speed. Like, sure, the promotion bonuses aren't that good, I mean. But she can do with them, you know? And Nenechi also has Ideology, so if you position Amelia in a good spot for Nenechi, she's essentially gonna be doing so much work for Nenechi that makes Nenechi, in general, just a lot easier to train because that +20 hit really comes in clutch. But I'll keep her at A because she suffers a bit of a Bay problem that, you know, honestly, not that much. She just has pretty low growth compared to what a trainee should be having. Maybe I should try running her Magic Girl and see how that fares in terms of, you know, what the class can do. Excuse me. Because you already got 2 pretty good flyers after her, Choco and Aki. Like, Aki is slow but bulky, but Choco's just a general powerhouse. She's like Camilla if Camilla could only use physical weapons. And didn't have that much of a growth stat. But yeah, Nenechi can go in A, or she could go in B because she kinda does need a bit of babying to get there. And even then, you're not sure about the babying because, you know, afterwards comes chapter 4, and then you get the Luna chapter, and then you gotta escape. You know? Like, her defenses are not that great. She's made of paper. But so is Ross, and people rate Ross highly. But Nenechi goes between A or B for me. If anything, she could probably be the best of B. But there's, like, no orders in the other tiers either. Okay, maybe I lied because Amelia, I think, is, like, the best A tier unit. And not, like, the best S. Not that it doesn't even go to S. Nenechi's between A or B for me. I'll put her in A, but if A tier becomes a bit too crowded, depending on who I have to move, I'll move her down. Maybe Fauna, but Rally Spectrum is just too good. But at least we got another bonkers unit. Yeah, it's Shirogane Noel. Now, here's the thing about Noel. You wanna know what it is? She had to get nerfed. And hard, because Flare used to, I'll talk about Flare too. Flare used to have 16 base strength. Right now, if you play the more current versions, she has 12 base strength. You wanna know what they did to Noel? -3 the strength. She also had 16 base strength. -3 to skill. She had 14 skill as an armor knight. -3 to speed. She had 8 speed as an armor knight. And wait, what was the other one? I don't think they lowered her defense, right? Actually, let me check. Oh dear. Because Noel, I told this to the creator. Noel is just absolutely bonkers. Because she, first off, Colossus. Sure, it isn't that great. Because, you know, it's a skill you have to wait for a proc for. Actually, what's the activation rate? I need to look that up. I could look up the Path of Radiance one, but I don't know the activation rate on that one. Okay, it's skill percent activation. And she has 1 leadership as well to make it even better. And you know what skills she can learn later on? No. Short Shield gains 6 defense against attacks received in melee. And in the game, there are 2 maps where there's going to be a spam of halberdiers. And she uses axes, so that's pretty good. And she also learns Ready Stance, which grants +4 speed and defense when the opponent initiates battle. So against those halberdiers, if you think she's got decent defense, you can just put her there, have a whole emblem in her inventory, promote her, and then have her keep weakening guys. Like, damn. And she also has Pavise. Well, she learned Pavise. Oh, wait. Here's another one. Puissance. +3 magic when the user's strength is higher than the enemy's. Okay. Okay. And Tower Shield. I think this is a later skill, so don't worry about it. Take no damage against attacks received at range. Oh my god. So she can even be a mage tank at some point. But let's look at these growth rates. She has the highest strength growth in the game, just so you all know, because, you know, it's Noel. Why wouldn't she have the highest strength of the game? You know, K for Knight. 80 strength, 10 magic, 45 skill, 30 speed, 35 luck, 50 defense, 20 resistance, 50 HP. And I feel like I got blessed in the HP department. It also doesn't help that I think my Noel might have been blessed. It also doesn't help that I got her to basically 60, like 20 to her Knight, 20, almost to 20 on Great Knight, then almost to 20 on her promoted class Commander. Like, she gets a 3rd class for free. Like, how? Like, she's just good. Also, Flare has a PRF. I think they say Flare's pretty good, so I'll put Flare in A, because I don't think I did Flare enough justice. Okay, let's see Noel's nerfs here. I'll check them out, because Fauna also got a buffs. But Fauna's buffs were just +1 to skill, speed, defense, and resistance. You wanna know what was Noel's nerfs? -3 to attack or strength, to skill, to defense, and to resistance. Like, Noel is pretty bonkers as a unit. She's pretty good. Like, why not, you know? She's honestly, like, a must-use unit. You can't just, you know, not use her. Like, if there was a Armor Knight list for really good Armor Knights and Fire Emblem, I'd put her. She's just that good. Like, I played with her as a unit before the nerfs. Maybe she's a little different now. But, you know. Oh, and also 16 con. At least I think that's correct. And 1 leadership. She can capture, provide leadership. She has Colossus, so if she's not tanking, she's probably killing. And she uses axes and lances at base. So that's 2 weapons compared to everyone else using 1 weapon. The only other unit you have that uses 2 weapons is Reine, your Jagan, who at this point, their stats aren't probably gonna be holding up much. Like, Noel replaces her as the tank as well. 46 hit points. She's rocking how much speed? 5? That's not a lot of speed, but it definitely makes her a more welcoming target. Like, with all that HP, she can probably take on a few mage hits, too. Like, she's just insanely good. Insanely good. And that's all I have to say about her, because what else do you want me to say? And either route she promotes in, she gains sword access. So, yeah, bonkers unit. Probably here, because she gets online a bit quicker than Miko. But Miko's online height is a lot higher than Noel's. So, you know, it's just insane how crazy good she was with those extra 3 in strength, skill, defense, and resistance. It just makes it easier to, you know, have her tank things. As for Flare, it's mainly just a attack nerf, because, like I said, she just becomes better Fauna. Oh no, wait, she also got nerfed in skill and defense. Ooh. Like, she just becomes better Fauna if your Fauna does not have any sort of, you know, selection weapon there. I'm sure it's a goodbye to Rally Spectrum, because Flare just has Rally Luck. Like, let's look. Like, Flare also has Opportunist, plus damage to foe if they cannot counter, and Blue Flame. So she gets Rally Spectrum from Kiara. She can just go insane, because Kiara also has Blue Flame. And she also learns Resolve. So, oh my goodness, she was even more insane than I thought. And she has 10 con, so she can capture some lower con enemies, I guess. Okay, her magic doesn't matter. There are no magic bows in the game, I think. But 55 strength, 35 skill. Okay, skill won't matter much because she's an archer. But actually, she has a lower skill now, so maybe that does matter. 60 speed, 25 defense, 20 resistance, 60 HP, and 60 luck. And her 3 most important stats as an archer, since she won't be countering much, like on enemy phase: strength, speed, luck, and HP. She has pretty high growths in those. And I would say pretty high bases too. Like, she capped strength pretty easily. But that was before the nerf. And, oops, I went down a bit. Guess I'll put her in A tier. But they do say she's insane, so maybe I'll just put her around here. But let's see these nerfs. -4 to attack, whereas skill and defense were -3. I just want you to know how much of a big deal that was. She had to get nerfed by 4 on the attack. By 4. That is just crazy, honestly. If she were to have a leadership star, she'd definitely be better Fauna. But Fauna would have the better payoff of she gets Rally Spectrum later. So it's like, you know, who do you prefer, honestly? Who do you prefer? Like, Fauna's later game, or you know, Flare's just consistent game? It's just, I don't know. I didn't use Flare much, but I definitely saw the potential. But I was more focused on using Fauna, because at the time of the recording, Fauna was graduating, and I was like, you know, selection's pretty good. I really want to use selection. I'll use Flare and Mumei next time I play the game, just to see how they are. But who comes after those two? Oh yeah, another S tier unit. Don't laugh. She's online before Noel. She's online before Miko. Honestly, she does a lot more in the early game. She doesn't get back to being relevant like Reine, but her stats do hold up for a really, really long while. Especially the fact that she has Slayer and Scythe. Like Scythe is a pretty good weapon. She can also learn to steal Scythe later. And let's look at the base stats for Choco. I definitely skipped over flares, so I'll read those out too before we get into Choco. Her HP is 28, so it isn't much because, you know, it's an archer. But she used to have 16 strength. I want you to think about that. Her skill used to be 14. Her speed was always 12. No biggie. She has the same base speed as Mumei and Nenechi. Interesting. 8 luck. She has to have 10 defense, so she could take a hit pretty easily. And 2 res. Man, the res didn't matter. There weren't much mages at that point in the game. 5 move. Regular for an archer. But the 10 con's still insane. But before I just go back to Flare, Choco. One of your most important units. The best candidate for Steel Plus. Steel Plus, you can steal... wait a minute. Mumei has it equipped currently. I can read what it does. Unit can steal unequipped weapons and staffs if con is more than the weight. She can steal silent staffs in the early game. There's a lot of them if she's given the Steel Plus. She can... You can warp her to... Wait, hold on. You can use those silent staffs. The silence other staff users. Have her go in, steal those staffs, you know? Because, like, you can get a lot of physics early on thanks to that. And later game, if her stats still hold up, boom. Free berserk, sleeps, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'd say she's pretty good. Like, what do you want? What do you want out of her? You know? You got a lot of things out of her. You can give her a javelin too for the 1-2 range. Like, let's look at Choco. 19 strength. Who has more strength than her? No one. Magic. Doesn't matter. Skill. Honestly, the only person that beats her in base skill is Bae. 16 speed. She has the same base speed as Reine and Watame. And Watame's speed doesn't matter that much. I mean, it still matters. 15 luck, 18 defense, 5 resistance. How much move? 7. Your other 7 move unit at that point is Subaru, who joins in the same map. And Nenechi. At least I think. Oh, does she have 6? Maybe I might have written that wrong. 15 con, that's why Steel Plus is pretty good on her. Who else has more con than her at that point? I'll tell you who. Suisei and Noel. And Noel's only beating her by 1. Suisei's only beating her by 17. And in that same map, which Subaru also joins in, yeah, Subaru has 14. And Aki, the other mounted unit you could get, has, 11. After that, the unit with the most, with like similar con is Robocop. Let's see, who else joins with more con than her afterwards? Louis at 18, but she's an armor knight. Wait, what is she doing? She's not stealing anything. She's not gonna get there in time. What is she doing? Rescuing? Okay, maybe from a bad situation, but transport rescuing? No. Let's keep going down. Zeta and Muna have 12 and 13. I put Zeta a bit up. I should move her a bit down. The only other unit with more con than her, but to a decent degree, after you recruit her, is Kiara. I already said Louis with 18, but Kiara also has 18. But here's the thing, Kiara also isn't rescuing much, because you want her to rally. Like, if she isn't rallying, what are you doing? And then after Kiara, Chloe with 15, but Chloe needs that 15 con. She's a whale. What, you want a whale to be 8 con? No. You need a whale to be 15. Then there's Korone with 16, Okayu with 12. I'm reading off the Excel sheet, so whatever you're seeing on screen won't be much. So the only other units, unit that actually can do the rescue stuff with that major amount of con like her at base is Korone and Subaru. I honestly argue Subaru's better for rescue dropping than Choco, because Choco wants to do a lot of combat, whereas Subaru doesn't want to do a lot of combat unless you're thinking of training up Subaru. But she has Soul, so she can make up for it. Like, what do I have to say here with Choco? What do I have to say with Choco? Like, her growth rates really don't matter. Actually, they do matter. But let's see what she learns. She has Life Taker, and she learns Charm, and she has Slayer at base. Like, what do you want from her? And her growth rates are pretty alright, too. 45 Strength, 10 Magic, 40 Skill, 50 Speed, 50 Luck, 35 Defense, Resistance, and 40 HP. Like, those growth rates are not bad. Sure, she can only use one weapon, but, like, do you want her to use another weapon? Honestly, no, because, like, then she'd just be super broken, like Camilla. But in balance terms, like, she's an S tier unit, one of the most important units of the game. Like, I think there's like a distinction for S tiers and just A tiers, or B tiers, or just any tiers. And when it comes to Fire Emblem games, like, the higher you are on the list, that means the more important you are. Like, sure, we can say Crony. Like, if this were any other game and Crony were just a regular sword master with, like, 30 cap speed or something, it would just be like, oh, she goes C tier because her combat's pretty good. She's definitely not the worst because of that combat. But, yeah, Choco good. I'm not gonna explain it. Choco good, man. Get your eyes checked. Choco good. And now, here comes a Sword of Training. You now put Luna in B. Honestly, B, just because of the leadership that she gives. She's a troubadour with Sit's move. At this point, you might start promoting your infantries. She joins at level 1. She's not getting much. Like, what do you want to do with Luna? What are you doing with Luna, honestly? You know, you ain't doing much. She has 1 strength, 18 HP, 11 magic. I think her magic was actually buffed because it was super low. Yeah, she used to have 5 magic. Yikes. No wonder my opinion of her is kind of low. 4 skill, 5 speed, 6 luck, 2 defense, 10 res, 6 move, 2 con. I will say that about Luna. She can be rescued by anyone. You can rescue Choco with her, so that's nice. Because, you know, she's age 0. She's baby. She's a baby. And, let's see her growth rates. Where did I put them? Oh, yeah, they're right here. 25 HP. She's a Fates unit with that growth rate. 20 strength. 60 magic. The magic's pretty high. 30 skill. 60 speed. 60 luck. Like, magic, speed, and luck are pretty high. 15 defense. Defense pretty low. Doesn't matter. And 50 resistance. You know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But the thing with Luna is, you know, before the buff that gave her the +6 magic, she was just like, she's just a staff unit. And you can't even keep her unpromoted so she can use Physic, because Physic you need to have B rank, and unpromoted units just cap their rank at C. So you're kind of wasting a rank on her. Yeah, she's the only one that can use the candy staff, but you can only use it up to 4 times. You get it early, and it's pretty good on that map in general. But it's like, after that map, you have like more breathing room to not have to use that staff, you know? And later on, you get Lamy too, which I already rated in B tier. So if you don't want to heal with Luna because you don't want to use her or something, because like you're running out of candy staff uses, or you think her 2 leadership won't matter to you much in the long run, or if you promote her like later on when you start getting a lot more holo emblems to You know, just to keep her as a heal bot, you know, that's fine too, physic bot, and then leave your other staff users to do things like sleep and warp. I like, she's definitely not going in D tier, but she's definitely in B tier because, like, maybe like this. Because, like, she's good. She's good for what she needs to do. But she's definitely not the highest choice for anyone. I just look at her growth rates. No, I mean, not her growth rates, her skills. She has Shade, which is pretty good. She also has Kanto Plus, or maybe is that one promoted? She learns Imbue, so that's nice. She learns Corona too. Let's read that. Corona, negate enemy resistance. Ooh, never mind, that's pretty good. But the problem is she has really low magic. Like, this is a Luna that's been played with since 1.1, and she has 19 magic with a 60% growth. And I promoted her at level 20. I just want to let you know how low that is. But maybe Luna could go a little higher, because I'm not being fair here. Because she has the highest aid in the game. 3 con and she has 17 aid. So, like, she can rescue anyone. But the rescue alone isn't not something to write home about until you get to the late game with the bigger maps. Just like with the logic with Miko, she isn't getting online much, but it's like her support isn't going to be getting online. Like, if you're playing on 1.1 Luna, I think she's B. If you're playing with the buffed Luna that gives her +6 magic, then she's A. Because I don't think there's many need for rescue dropping in this game, because Noel's pretty tanky. She won't need to get out of places pretty much. Choco's already flying, so she can traverse terrain Luna can't do. And those are pretty high con units. Like, and even with 17 aid, she's not rescuing someone like Louis. She can definitely rescue everyone that's under that con stat. She can't rescue Kiara. I think she can rescue Kyla. She has a lot of aid. Consistent aid, I might add, nonetheless. But, you know, who is she really rescuing? Oh, I turned off the tab. Oh, dear. But, yeah, who are you getting, buddy? Like, who are you getting with that? Maybe I'll put her below Lamy, because Lamy gets power staff if you actually do train her. But Corona is pretty good. Like, this is an experience based on when Luna had 5 magic base instead of 11. That +6 magic does wonders. Because I leveled her up to 20, and then I promoted her. So, yeah, and she had 19 magic. So, if we subtract, I think the promotion bonus is like 1, right? She had 18 magic by the time she was level 20. That was 13 levels, so 5 of those levels that went without magic. So, I think with the buff to her magic base, you can promote her a lot earlier. Then have her learn, like, Corona or something, and have her, you know, just weaken enemies pretty easily. Like, she can weaken enemies. Problem is, I think you might want to make her Mage Knight, but Mage Knight gives her more con, thus reducing that aid use of hers. So I think Luna just goes in B. Like, she's definitely the only user of the Candy Staff, but there's only like a few maps in the game where they come in, and it's like 2. Like, where you really want to use it in. It's like her join map, and then chapter 24. But you definitely don't want to break it, so that 5-use Candy Staff is actually a 4-use Candy Staff if you want to use La Plus. Like, you cannot deplete the Candy Staff if you're a La Plus fan. You need all of those weapons, and in good shape too. Let's see who else is on the list to be rate. Oh yeah, Subaru, B tier. Like, Subaru, I think she's all right. like she's got all the right bases. Let's see, how much has she got? She's got 32 HP, pretty high for that point. Because Flair's got 28. 12 strength, she could use a bit more strength there. 6 magic. She's a good use of the rune sword. She has cap skill. Cap skill, by the way, cap skill. But 10 speed, 11 luck, 8 defense, 1 resistance, 7 move, 14 con. She's definitely a rescue bot. Now let's look at the growth rates. They are 40 hit points, 55 strength, nice. 10 magic, 60 skill, 35 speed, 50 luck, 45 defense, 25 resistance. Like, the thing with Subaru, she's just pretty slow. Definitely not better than Bae, because you can definitely go without using Subaru, because most of your units will be going on foot range, except for like Ganata and Anya. They're their own thing, and some of the flyers don't have that much stats that hold up. Like Iris, you kind of need to invest into her to make that stuff hold up. And she's also on a horse. I don't think being on a horse is bad, but you get Muna later. So like if your Subaru doesn't get a good speed level up, then Muna just becomes a way better cavalier. Like definitely Subaru's tankier. She'll proc soul a lot more, but she's gonna get doubled way too easily. She doesn't have a bulk to like take too many hits. And if she's gonna be taking hits, she wants the rune sword or just proccing soul. And it's like, what do you want from me, Subaru? Like, Subaru feels more like a temporary unit rather than a full-on unit to stay. Maybe better than Bae, but then I'd be being too harsh to Bae, but she's definitely not better than Suisei. Like, Subaru can be used for the movement-intensive maps pretty easily. You know? But then there are maps that aren't movement-intensive, like Chapter 24, I would say, is not that movement intensive because you're gonna have to fight those, the enemies at the bottom. You're gonna have to fight them at some point because then you're gonna have to go through the middle, fight the Draco zombies to, distract Callie. Like, I would say take care of those guys in the bottom first. And then you can make your way towards Callie. Sure, there's going to be some reinforcements. But at that point, you're going to have, like, Rally Spectrum. And possibly, some bulky units, too, that go along with. Or just some way to accommodate for bulk. Like, and you got another Cloudy Sheep, so there's more defense there. While you sleep, Callie, then open the door, face the horde of the Legion to then get to the Hachama sitting on the throne. And then, talk to Callie, and then you can just use Callie as like a meat shield of sorts. Most of your units aren't reaching the high movement speeds you want them to. Let's look at what other skills she has. Subaru. I did promote her to a paladin. That is nice. She learns heavy strikes and she learns drive strength. Let's see. Drive strength is pretty good support. Slow burn. She has slow burn like Aki. She has chivalry too. Like, she's gonna deal damage, but she's not doing like much with that. She wants, like, honestly, if you just buff her speed stat a bit, like not even her growth, you bump her speed stat just a bit, I think that could help her out a lot. But then, I don't know, it's just, like, even, like, she and Aki have the same speed. I guess it was a form of balancing, There's wyverns, cavaliers, flyers. They always tend to be pretty good. Like, if you give them a speed stat that isn't, that great, then they're balanced. But if you give them a speed stat that they can work with to double a lot of enemies in the later parts of the game, like aka enough speed to hit the thresholds, like just barely, that's really good for most people, because then that just puts them also in better bulking range. Because taking one hit is better than taking two, you know? Like, sure, you can take 2 hits at 5, but it's better to take 1 hit at 8 than 2 hits at 5. But then you're like, oh, what if one of the 5s miss? Yeah, but it's unlikely those 2 5s are gonna miss if you're already getting doubled, you know? But it's also not too great to take like a jillion damage, you know? But I'm just saying, if you have to sacrifice a little bit of bulk for speed to hit the threshold, then I think that's okay. I think that's okay. And speaking of 10 speed, Aki, yeah. She's a wyvern. I'll just put her in automatic A. But she's not there for, like, you know, she's not like a Milady or a Har. She's more of a Baruka. Let's look at her skills. Let's see what skills she comes with. I think I promoted her too. I did. She has insight, so she's always hitting things. Hit plus 20. She has nice dice. Also another unit that can benefit units of cultured. Slow burn, plus 1 hit and avoid for each passing turn up to 15. Death blow, and yeah, that's about it. She learns Fiery Blood, which is Rinka's skill. Maybe I should have considered that. Like, I would say she's like Aerial Suisei. Let's look at these growths, shall we? 50 strength, 10 magic, 50 skill, 35 speed, 30 luck, 45 defense, 10 resistance, 90 HP. She's just a wyvern. That's about it, really. Also a good recipient of the Slayer skill because, you know, Choco's not going to be able to do everything. And, like, if you're looking for a second Choco, if your Choco died, I think Aki's, like, a good replacement. Like, maybe you could give Slayer to anyone else here, but maybe you might have enough doubling as speed stats to double to just make it that you don't need Slayer that much. Or you could be using Slayer against those mages. Maybe Slayer plus Brave Lance would be pretty great. Heck, I think she's probably the best user of Lancer now that I think about it. Maybe I shouldn't have given it to Nenechi, but to her. Because Death Blow and Fiery Blood. Like, I criticize Suisei for needing too much crit, but from what it seems like for Aki, I could give her like the Brave Lance, and I just have those hits guaranteed accurately. And if she crits, then I just save a use on the Brave Lance. Like, Suisei's still an Ats fighter. Suisei has a lot of skill, but also Suisei's using Atses. And there are many a sword unit here, and there are many dodgy units here, so having someone with like hit plus 20 is pretty good. I think Aki's definitely one of the better units of the game, but I also wouldn't hold her in that high of a regard, because she's just alright. I wouldn't delve too much into it, honestly. But yeah, I think she's alright. You can promote her and then have her do some short-term work, and she definitely gives you a lot of benefit when you're going into Pekoland and you take that snow chapter. Like, those mages, they will attack you, and so will that hero guy when he comes out. But the thing is, if you don't attack any of the people on watch, you can just fly over. So, like, she or Choco could just visit the villages. So could Nenechi if you kept her as a Pegasus class. And then go into, you know, defeating the boss. She could also weaken the boss pretty well, so can Choco. Like, Choco and Aki have definitely a Camilla Baruka situation. She's just the worst Choco. But Choco's already a pretty important unit. One of the best units in the game. It's not like being like this. Like Benny being a worse Effie. Actually, I wouldn't say that because he's bulkier than Effie, but he also has the damage output of a wet noodle. Like some people said. But I think Aki's alright. She's good. If you want to make her work, you can make her work. Just be prepared to not have her double. This is different to what I said with Subaru. But the thing with Subaru is that sometimes Subaru just isn't guaranteed the hit, nor does she have much bulk. Like, what Subaru wants is to attack a unit at full HP. But Subaru also gives everyone drive strength. So maybe you could just have Subaru, like, clean up and stuff. So maybe I was being a bit too harsh to Subaru. But Aki does a better first impression on players than she does on Subaru. I think if Subaru had joined with like a brave weapon, she'd be a lot better. Because Aki definitely, even with a brave weapon, she's still gonna get doubled because she has lower con than Subaru. Like, definitely flying helps out Aki more than Subaru does with Cavalier work. Maybe I'll do this. But then that wouldn't be fair to buy. But then again, if anyone's got better damage output, it's probably gotta be Subaru. Like, what is Subaru's bases again? Because I read Aki's. Aki has a whopping 17 strength. Subaru has 12. Ooh, skill 13. But she already has the hit plus, so that would only matter for soul, but she doesn't have soul. 10 speed, it's the same. 8 luck. 1 minus than Subaru. Okay. No, wait, actually 2 less than Subaru. She has 8 luck, 3 less. Yeah. 15 defense compared to Subaru's 8. And then she also has 4 more resistance than Subaru. So yeah, she's just bulkier and she has hit percentage chance. Like, Soul is nice and all, but if you aren't a Path Radiance Cavalier, then Soul isn't gonna be doing much for you. Because the reason Soul works on those Path Radiance Cavaliers is because the enemies in Path Radiance are slow. So, like, you have 2 chances to hit the Soul proc. Over here, you have 1 chance to hit it. And the enemies in this game, they hit hard. Like, in the harder games, I don't think Soul tanking is as much of a big deal. Like, maybe that's the reason Soul Ninja works so well, because, you know, they can double. They have 2 chances to actually do it. And since they're doubling, maybe the hit rate isn't so good. But due to Subaru being pretty slow, she's gonna get hit, so she's gonna want the Soul a lot more. So it just really isn't fair for Subaru. I think giving Subaru a bit of extra base speed just works out wonders. But I will say Luna's probably the worst out of the 4 units you get there. But I would say the long-term investment one, like the long-term, the worst investment one's probably Subaru. Or Choco. You could say Choco, but the thing is, if you give her Steel Plus, and if you decide to give her some coffees because everyone else you're using doesn't need them or something, and she can steal stuff up to way later in the game thanks to you having 15 con and flying. Like, trust me, there are indoor maps at the end of the game with staff users. Yes, I know this, but then there's also a bunch of maps in the later parts of the game that is still nice to have a flyer go in and about, you know? Like the one where you recruit Sana, the final shiny smiley story map, the one where you go to the lair of the underworld, you know? Wait. Yeah, it's the chapter where you go into the portal and everyone gets like bonus guidance, you know, like you're stuck on chapter 21. It's for what seems to be like a long while, but not really, because everyone's just going to different chapters. It's all different perspectives. You know how it is. So she still has that type of investment there. But yeah, that's just my take on what seems to be the Luna squad. And then there's also, like, you can divide all these units into squads. Like, there's a Botan squad, the virtual idol, the Hololive idol squad. Then there's the Holo Et squad. Okay, they're a bit separate, but you get the idea. Then there's the Pecora squad. Then there's the... Actually, all of these are separated. Maybe I should form them in squads and raid like that. I need to decide what to do for a better rating of these.